this doesn't seem right. This isn't what I was taught in constitutional law courses, or this isn't how you implement people's constitutional rights.
And they're utilizing these deep state agencies in order to control the population and the narrative. As on this voyage to truth and freedom, while all about you, they create terms like misinformation and disinformation. We know that what they want to do is censor and control, to centralize power, to prevent alternative narratives reaching you so that you can discern and decide for yourself what's true for you. Yes, of course, there are objective facts, but there are also corrupt, centralized organizations that have too much power and are willing to exploit that power. There's a long list. But today, we're talking about the FBI, who have literally committed hundreds of thousands of crimes. We're going to list those for you, not individually. That would take too bloody long. Also, when people try to blow the whistle on them, they shut that down. They ignore them and mistreat them. Are the FBI and the CIA protecting Americans and the people of the...
This brother shows everything but his damn nipples, man. I'm going to start wearing shirts that's down to my belly button. I'm gonna start showing my belly button every single show. Every single time you click on the videos, you're gonna see Van's belly button. I make sure I shave it though, so ain't no hair. That's just nasty. Hopefully you're not eating breakfast while I'm talking about this. Okay, never mind.
The world, or are they protecting the interests of the powerful? Let's get into it.
What are your thoughts about what the activities are going on at the FBI?
The FBI has sort of evolved from what we expected to be, which is federal law enforcement. And after 9/11, when the national security branch was grown exponentially, the FBI has now essentially evolved into a domestic intelligence agency with a law enforcement capability, which is what I expressed in the hearing.
Okay, so the FBI has mutated into something other than what it was intended for at its inception. What you have to fundamentally ask yourself is, have many of our institutions evolved beyond the point where they are relevant? And in many cases, are they literally doing the opposite of what they were intended to do?
Yes, that's what they're doing. I was about to say that. I don't consider that evolving. I would consider that dissolving. They're dissolving. They were made for one thing, but they're continuing to go down. They're being influenced by the wrong people to go this way and that, to be weaponized against political opponents. They're becoming extremely soft, except against the people that they are enemies with. All right. If you're friends of the FBI, you're good. You're good. But they're able to weaponize the FBI now against their opponents and their political enemies, so to speak. They're treating this like it's daggone Game of Thrones or something. It's ridiculous.
Governments that don't represent the people, media that behaves more like propaganda, security agencies that make you insecure. Why does this happen? Is it possible that all these agencies and organizations have been co-opted by elite power? It appears on the basis of the testimony of these whistleblowers that the FBI isn't engaged
devolving
in a process of upholding the law and the consensus achieved through American democracy in order to support the republic, but is essentially supporting the interests of powerful groups. Let's have a look what else they've been doing and how it plays out.
And that's a problem because the nature of law enforcement investigations are linear. They have a start and an end. And the nature of intelligence operations are circular. They just gain more intelligence to gain more intelligence, and they never end.
That's interesting. What a brilliant piece of analysis. They ought to be like, right, there's this crime, will you solve it? Like a little film. There's been a murder or a crime, solve it, it's done now. But the process of gathering information is infinite. That's what we're learning now. We learned through the revelations of Snowden that they were stockpiling information, keeping it in case they needed it in the future.
Was it Snowden, the whistleblower, who was telling all the secrets and then people was threatening his life? And they had to storm away somewhere?
Practice still goes on. They're prolonging it. As our man there said, it began with 9/11. That legitimized it, but also the technology existed at that time. And as soon as that technology exists, there's a momentum and a motive to ensure that it's used by the powerful. We'll see the same thing with AI. Oh, look at this. Oh, no, is it bad? Will children use this to write their essays? Oh, it's going to reduce the number of people in work. These are both problems of varying degrees, but the real problem will become what happens when these powers become co-opted by and utilized by the powerful.
What was the tipping point for you, Garrett, when you decided, though, hey, I need to talk about what's going on in the FBI?
I don't know if there was any firm tipping point that I can reach to, but it was more a summation of things that had been adding up and just over and over again saying, this doesn't seem right. This isn't what I was taught in constitutional law courses, or This isn't how you implement people's constitutional rights.
What Garrett O'Boyle, whistleblower, appears to be saying is that these institutions now have an inertia. They've made their choices. That's how they function. This is what they're going to do. They are not going to change. It's down to us to change individually and collectively in order to hold them to account. We must remain capable of discerning truth from fiction. We must remain bold, and like him, we must remember the oaths we've made to ourselves, to our gods, or to our systems of ideals, to our families, and to one another. We must believe it's possible to change the world. Once we become hypnotized and bound in bureaucracy, we're just sheep. Cattle to them. For decades after the FBI was caught spying on Martin Luther King Jr. and abusing its powers for political ends, Democrats emphasized strong constraints on domestic spying and the importance of whistleblowers. Now Democrats are savaging these former public servants as threats to national security. Why is that? Well, presumably because their interests have changed and they are utilizing these deep state agencies in order to control the population and the narrative. But then
Facts. Russell Brand, bro, let me tell you this. You're a good damn dude. You're a good dude. From where I sit, you're a good dude. But he's absolutely right. Like, people were complaining about the FBI being used as pawns to do certain things, to spy on Dr. King and all this other stuff. But then they have different team. They're on a different side now. Okay, now we support this person. Now we support this side. Now we support Republicans. Now we support Democrats. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Use us how you will. You know, whoever runs the show, you can use us. That's some real whorish type of mentality, man.
let's find out. At least 2 FBI whistleblowers are being persecuted for concerns over how the January 6th protesters were treated. Now, it can be difficult to talk about the January 6th protests and some of the theories and ideas that surround it, but it seems clear that the FBI have targeted and surveilled protesters from January the 6th, but also George Floyd protesters. It seems that it doesn't matter what the issue is per se,
Yana.
but whether
Per se, Your Honor.
or not, your protest is at odds with the interests of the powerful that they represent and operate on behalf of. I.e., what I'm saying, in case you haven't picked it up yet, is put aside your political differences and start working together, for God's sake. Steve Friend
They're not going to do that.
expressed concerns about the FBI's use of SWAT teams to arrest January 6th subjects. Within a month of these disclosures, the FBI removed Friend's security clearance and removed him from active duty. Garrett O'Boyle disclosed that the FBI pressured him to violate the law by opening domestic violent extremism investigations without sufficient basis. In addition to an indefinite unpaid suspension, the FBI initiated a campaign of humiliation and intimidation to punish and pressure me to resign, Friend testified. The FBI's campaign of personal destruction included leaking Friend's private medical information to a New York Times reporter. Before you start listening to that whistleblowing, you might want to know a thing or two about this guy's verrucas and his troubling athlete's foot. His feet are a goddamn mess. Yeah, but what about all this whistleblowing? Don't worry about what's up here. Worry about what's down there. FBI whistleblower Marcus Allen got in trouble with his superiors at the FBI, not for peddling conspiracy theories, but rather for sharing accurate news articles, including one apparently based on reporting by the New York Times. These guys, you can't trust them. They're sharing articles that are true. Well, actually, look, we wrote this one. Yeah, but, you know, listen, did I tell you about his feet? They stink. Now, if we are going to continue to confront corruption of this nature, we are going to need some sponsors. We're obviously not going to get much support from the state. We're obviously going to be smeared and attacked. That's why there's a version of me coming right at you to suggest to you a product or service which I heartily endorse, probably give you a discount for, and will try to make funny. Stay with us.
Now, one thing that Russell Brand does, he keeps it entertaining while giving us this information, but this information he's passing on to us is pretty daggone scary. It's pretty scary. The people who control everything, the people who have all the power, can just decide who they're going to back, who they're going to arrest, who they're going to, you know, they're removing people clearances that actually work for them, that want to do the right thing. They can give a damn about any of that. Look, we got a job to do. We got a figurehead that we want to take care of, right, wrong, or indifferent. You know, if you try to say something about what we're doing, you're out of here. You're done. You know what I mean? And we're going to smear your name. We're going to put all this information out about your own personal life and try to make you look bad. So that, you know, anyone that hear you talking about us, they won't believe you. That sucks, man. It's absolutely horrible, bro. And like you said, put aside your political differences and just work together. That's not going to happen, man. We're past that. We're completely past that. People are so gung-ho on protecting their side that they're not even seeing the truth anymore. You can even see Fox News, what they did to Tucker. Huh? When somebody says too much, oh, we need to get him up out of here. He got to go. And that's exactly what happens, man. It's unfortunate, but that's just where we are right now.